Welcome everybody, thank you for coming. In previous weeks we talked about how to create a foundation for mindfulness of breathing. This foundation in MIDL is known as mindful presence. Mindful presence is an immersion of awareness within our body. Bringing our awareness and resting it so deeply in our body that it abides there, that it rests there. To develop mindful presence requires a training based on relaxing, letting go. Methodical, precise, clear relaxing of effort in our body, and very clear relaxing of effort within our mind. What we find that is if we relax effort within our body, within our mind, precisely, deliberately, with clear comprehension, awareness tends to sink and rest in our body, abide within it. If we find pleasure in, if we enjoy that pleasure of that mindful presence, of that relaxing, of letting go, then this mindful presence also has an effect on the hindrances within our mind. In the list of 16 meditative hindrances in MIDL, meditative hindrances are that which hinders the development of relaxation, calm, tranquility. The first 3 hindrances are calmed. They no longer arise during our meditation with the development of mindful presence. As you develop mindful presence, your awareness becomes more grounded in your body. And you'll find that that restlessness settles down. You may have periods of feeling more calm, more relaxed. Thinking will start to settle down a bit. And as you become comfortable within this mindful presence, the next 2 hindrances will begin to arise. The next 2 hindrances are number 4, habitual forgetting, and number 5, gross wandering. And it's those that we're going to talk about today. Habitual forgetting and gross wandering are intimately tied in together. And I'll just explain what each of these is. During your meditation, you'll experience habitual forgetting as literally forgetting that you're meditating. You'll be sitting down, relaxing, starting to develop mindful presence of your body. And then suddenly you realize that you've been off thinking about something for the past 5 minutes. And during that time you were thinking, you forgot that you were meditating. Has anyone experienced that before? You have? Yeah, so in MIDL this is referred to habitual forgetting. Habitual forgetting and gross wandering are tied into the delusive group of the hindrances. So both of them are based on delusion. Gross wandering is your attention going out again and again to all your six senses, going to itches and pains and aches in your body, going out to sounds that you hear around you, going out to thoughts, to fantasies. Is this gross wandering of your attention all over the place? Your attention going everywhere except for your meditation object at this stage, mindfulness of your body. And at a later stage, it can even happen when we're practicing mindfulness of breathing. Gross wandering comes out of habitual forgetting. So it's important that we first start to understand what habitual forgetting is. And then we also understand how to weaken it and remove it from our mind. Just as we learned techniques earlier to remove stress reactions, anxiety, and also to lower physical and mental restlessness. And these techniques were the MIDL softening skills. To overcome habitual forgetting, we need to use grounding skills. So let's understand what habitual forgetting is. Habitual forgetting is intimately tied into mindfulness. So mindfulness, sati, means memory or to remember. This remembering is remembering our present experience, keeping it in mind, holding it in mind within our short-term working memory. So mindfulness is the ability to remember our present experience now, and also to carry over a memory of the previous experiences that also just happened. So it has a memory over time. What this means is sitting here now, I have an experience, and then it's replaced by another experience and another one. And I remember over time what happened during my meditation. And when we move on to mindfulness of breathing, we'll be remembering over time the experience along the length of each in-breath and the experience along the length of each out-breath. And we'll be using that to train this short-term working memory of learning to keep this meditation object within our mind without any effort at all. That's our aim, our goal. When we're looking at habitual forgetting, we're looking at the tendency of our mind to drop what is held within that short-term working memory. For our mind, short-term working memory is very important. If I just look around the room and see you all now, I have a memory of what I saw before on this side. My mind joins what I'm seeing now with the memory of what happened before it. And this picking up and keeping in mind, holding in mind, is normal for our mind. It's what allows us to function and move about during the day. Our mind picks things up, it carries them for a while, and then it drops them. It drops them when they have no use. Sometimes our mind will hold objects in short-term memory for long periods, like this is where I parked my car in the shopping mall. Other times it's just hearing sounds and then holding it, carrying it, and joining it to the sight of the bird. So we see the bird sing. You see me speak. But it takes a lot more effort for the mind or for the brain to process sight than it does sound. So our mind actually delays that sound to join it with the sight. So the sound of me speaking and the vision of my speaking joins together. There's been a holding in mind, keeping in mind happening there. Now this short-term memory also discards objects. We can understand this like a computer. A computer has a hard drive which relates to long-term memory. That's all your memories that you can remember throughout your life. And usually these memories within our mind have a feeling of pleasantness or unpleasantness attached to them. This is a sorting mechanism or a storage mechanism of our mind in long-term memory of the hard drive of our mind. And computers have RAM. And the purpose of the RAM is it holds things in short-term memory. Just holds them enough so that it can process them. Yeah? Our mind is doing the same thing. Our mind is like RAM. It picks things up and holds them in short-term memory so it can process them. And just like RAM, when they're of no use, it drops it. So our mind throughout the day is picking up objects. This is no use. Dropping it. Picking it up. This is of no use. Dropping it, and so on. Now when you come to meditation, you'll be given an object of meditation. And this object of meditation is given to you to remember. This may be the touch of your thumbs. Yeah? This may be your body sitting here. It might be the experience of your breath coming in and out, the candle flame, whatever. You're given an object to keep, to hold in mind, to hold in short-term memory. And what we do is we're given this object. I got the touch of the thumbs, resting in my lap, sitting here, very present. And I put gentle effort towards remembering that touch. And it's important that this effort is gentle. And as we're remembering it, then suddenly we realize, I was thinking about what was happening yesterday for a period of time. I completely forgot my meditation object. In these times, we notice there's a remembering of the meditation object. And then suddenly we remember that we have forgotten. We literally can't recall what was happening in that period that we were lost until we come out of it, until we've reflected on it. On reflection, we see there was mindful presence, a remembering of our meditation object, habitual forgetting. That habitual forgetting is when the mind slips into delusion. And then a remembering again, the returning of mindfulness. And observing these transitions is key to insight meditation. And it's also key to developing calm in samatha. Now this habitual forgetting is normal. Maybe you've driven a car and you've driven past your turnoff. Yeah? Maybe you've been walking around your home and then suddenly start daydreaming and literally forget what it was that you were doing. This is happening all the time. This is normal for the mind. So of course it's going to be normal when you meditate. Now our mind sees our meditation objects, such as touch of the thumbs, breath coming in and out, as being boring, as being uninteresting, as not having any value. This is why I emphasize finding pleasure in the meditation itself. Applying curiosity, because curiosity feels good. It feels good to be interested in something. And also learning to tune into that pleasure of relaxing, of letting go. Finding pleasure of that growing presence in your body and in your mind. Smiling into it, enjoying it. That's the purpose of the GOS formula in MIDL. It rewards the mind to let go, but it also rewards the mind to develop this mindful presence. Out of the habitual forgetting comes gross wandering. Now this habitual forgetting is dangerous as an insight meditator. It's dangerous because when the mind forgets what's happening, it slips into, it falls into what I refer to as habitual delusion. Habitual delusion is the deluded state of the mind. This is different to the delusion as in misunderstanding or caught up in fantasies within the world and how I see things. This habitual delusion is literally a state of not knowing. Whenever our mind falls into that state of not knowing, it forgets present experience, then the mind fills that gap with habit. Whatever is your mind's habitual dwelling place, where it lives, where it abides, whether that being worrying about the future, fantasizing about the past, whatever that is, that's where your mind will go to. That's what your mind will produce, and your attention will become absorbed into when you slip into habitual forgetting. It's in this deluded state that people become angry. It's in this deluded state that we become filled with lust. It's in this deluded state that we cause all harm to ourselves and others in this world. For most people, living a normal, ordinary life, this habitual delusion is their normal resting place, abiding place. Literally, most of the time, there's no one home. They're literally living in a flow of habit. A flow and pattern of habit that's just rolling on, feeding into, practicing itself. A flow of habit that's based on practicing and strengthening attraction, aversion, and indifference within delusion. So it's really important as insight meditators, with this delusive nature being our natural abiding place, our natural resting place, to begin to create gaps within that delusion so we can develop insight into reality. If we don't create a gap within habitual delusion, this habitual delusion will come into our meditation practice, and no real insight will develop. No insight that will actually completely transform the heart and the mind. So let's look at a very simple exercise that we can do, or training that we can do, to weaken this falling into, slipping into habitual delusion of your mind. What we need is a very simple object, a very neutral object. And the best object I find for this is the touch of the thumbs. So you can touch them lightly together like this, or lay one on top of the other if you do it for longer periods. So if I do it for an hour, I'll have it one on top. If it's like 10 minutes, you can have it like that. Now, touch is really, really sensitive. So it makes a wonderful object. Also, it's very neutral. So you can feel just sitting here now. You can be aware of your whole body just sitting here. You relax into it. That's it. And then within the center of your body, the focus of your awareness is resting very gently on that point of touch. That's it. So we have peripheral awareness of our body in the background. And the touch of our thumbs in the foreground. Now it's important not to try to look at or strain to feel in detail that touch. This exercise is done very gently. It's more like we're watching that touch of the thumbs out the corner of our eye. You can let your eyes close over gently. Now I'd like you to start to notice. Can you notice the gentle effort to remember your thumbs touching? Be curious. Can you notice you have to put effort in again and again and again to remember that touch? It's like that remembering is strobing. Start to notice that remembering as keeping in mind your object. You're literally remembering to keep awareness of the touch of your thumbs within your mind. As you get some momentum, it has a feeling of being a stream of remembering, a flow of remembering. Can you notice that flow of remembering? Now you're noticing the effort in the experience of mindfulness. As you get more comfortable with this, start to play with relaxing the amount of effort you use to remembering that touch. How little effort can you put in without wandering? Just adjust your mental effort, relaxing it. And gently smiling with your eyes into and enjoying the simplicity of this experience. And if at any time your attention wanders and you forget the touch, that's okay. That's what we're learning. Celebrate the remembering. Oh, I've been off. Awesome. And then gently bring your awareness back to the touch of your thumbs. Keeping it in mind, holding in mind gently until you forget again. This is the game we play. You can open your eyes. That exercise is simple, very simple. Could you notice the effort to remember? You could. Could you notice the effort to keep it in mind? It's like again and again and again and again. So it's vitakka, the applying of attention. You can actually observe it. Remembering again and again and again like this. Yeah. And then as we become more constant in that, it starts to have a feeling of a stream of remembering or a flow of remembering over time. Now, when we do it for a short period of time like that, it's pretty easy. That you can feel that effort. Always look at relaxing back that effort, because what you're doing is you're training your mind to want to do this, not trying to force your mind to do it. So it's important to relax back the effort physically and mentally and start find enjoyment in, the pleasure in remembering that. And you can gradually increase it. Start off with 10 minutes, build it to 15. 30 minutes, and you can do it up to an hour. Believe it or not, it can be enjoyable to remember touch for an hour. If you're curious about that mindfulness aspect, if you're curious about what's going on, this is not about the touch. This is about strengthening that working short-term memory, training your mind to keep an object in mind over a long period of time. That's what we're doing as both samatha and vipassana meditators. So you train your mind to do this. And some people's minds will drop objects faster than others. It doesn't matter. You notice this weakness and you strengthen it. You strengthen it with regular exercise. We can all do it. Yeah, this is something we can all do. And being really interested in any time you forget during that seated meditation or in your daily life, start to notice the nature of habitual forgetting and the slipping into habitual delusion. This is one of the key doorways to insight in daily life. Yeah. So when you notice you forget, simple, you celebrate. You show your mind happiness in the returning of mindfulness. Oh, I'm back again. Wonderful. Oh, that was funny. The mind goes off and it forgets. It forgot by itself. Anatta. Autonomous nature. I saw that. Wow. This forgetting happens by itself. I'm not forgetting. This is just a tendency within my mind. Yeah? And then apply that GOS formula. Soften, relax. Effort in your body, in your mind. Noticing how nice it feels to let go. Smile into, enjoy it, and bring it back to your meditation object again. And that would be the touch of your thumbs, if you're training that tendency out of your mind. Or it will be mindfulness of body in daily life, or mindfulness of body and breathing. Yeah, during mindfulness of breathing. Yeah. Now it's important when you're training this to also not only have the touch in the foreground, that's the focus of your attention, but have a mindfulness of body in the background. Always keeping that peripheral awareness of your body in the background. Because this also has another source of insight. I'll point you towards, we have discussed it earlier in earlier Dhamma talks, and that is you'll start to notice that when you start to wander, there's a sign, this touch of your thumbs or your meditation object will go into the background, and whatever is distracting you will start to come into the foreground. So it will actually swap. Yeah? Your meditation object will become another object in peripheral awareness, and your mind will go, well, that's of no use, throw it away, and it will drop out of peripheral awareness, and you've forgotten your meditation object. So I'll give you a challenge, see if you can notice this. When you do this exercise, at first it is difficult, but stay away from strain. You cannot force your way through this. It has to be fun. But gradually what I noticed within myself is gradually the ability to remember and keep an object in my mind became easier and could hold it over longer periods of time. And this started to affect all other aspects of my practice, where I learned to be able to keep in mind, hold in mind an object of my choosing. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. So thank you everyone for sharing today, sharing this time with me. Take care of yourself and have a wonderful week. And thank you. Take care.